Good morning, children. Quick recap of this lesson, separation of substances. Already I started. I explained you. I gave example also. I explained two methods or three methods. That is hand picking method. I explained you how to separate out the stones are there in the rice before washing or before cooking. How to separate the stones by using the fingers. How to separate the rotten vegetables from fresh vegetables with the hand picking only. You will separate it out. How you will separate all the mixed vegetables? By seeing the color, by seeing the shape, you will separate it out, isn't it? So this is what you call it, hand picking method. And next what I explained you, how you will separate the husk from the grains. After harvesting, thrashing will be done, the grains will be separated. Then how you will separate that husk from the grain? By using a winnowing method. A farmer will stand on the height and he will use a flat pan, will take the grains with husk. For this what is required? Air is required. The husk will be blown over towards the air side, and what will fall vertically to the earth? That is grain. So solid particles will be separated from the lighter particles by using a winnowing method. Understood? In the same way I explained you sedimentation and decantation also. Take a mixture of soil in a beaker and add water, stir it well and keep it aside. After a few hours, what you will see? You will see the soil particles in layers. Heavy particles will settle first, then lighter, then lighter particles, isn't it? So you will get in layers. The soil you will get it in the layers. So these layer particles are called sediment. So in the earth also, when you dug out the earth, you will see the layers in the earth. Very heavier particles, that is rocky layer, you will see at the bottom. Isn't it? Very depth in the earth you will see this. Okay, so this is what you call it, sedimentation. Now, after sedimentation, the clear water will be there on the soil. How you will take it out? How you will take it out that water? Take a vessel. Without disturbing the soil particle, transfer it into another vessel. Understood? This is what you call it? Decantation method. What do you call it? Decantation method, isn't it? Now you are coming to another method is sieving and filtration. Another method is sieving and filtration. Sieving method and filtration method. Now you see, at home everyone will prepare tea. What we use as sugar, milk, tea leaves, isn't it? Tea leaves is soluble in water, only it gives the color to the tea, isn't it? And tea leaves are soluble? No, it is in solid state. Then how you will separate these tea leaves after preparation of the tea? By using a strainer, we will separate the tea leaves from the tea. Which method is used here? Which method is used to separate the tea leaves from the tea? Filtration method. Which method is used? Filtration method. In the same way, in our day-to-day life also, you will see your mother will sieve the flour, wheat flour, isn't it? How she will separate this husk particles and the flour? By using a sieve. By using a sieve, which will have the very fine holes will be there in the sieve. Very fine holes we will get it in the sieve. Very fine holes will be there. So from these fine holes, the flour will be separated, and what is left behind on the sieve? Husk. Husk particles will be there on the sieve. Isn't it? Husk particles will be there on the sieve. In the same way, you have seen in the construction site also, they use the net, very fine net they use. And how they will separate it out the different size sand particles by using the net. They separate the very fine sand particles from the pebbles. Pebbles will be separated and sand particles will be separated, and you get the very fine sand particles by using this method. Okay? So here you will see. Now how you will separate the mud water? How you will separate the mud from the mud water? What is the method we use to separate the Mud is very fine. Very fine particle of soil is a mud only. Very fine particle of sand is soil is mud only. Then how you will separate? Here see, we use a filter paper. What is filter paper? It is a sieve only. It is a sieve only made up of paper. It is made up of paper only, which has very fine holes. Very fine holes will be there. So here what you have to do is take a beaker and take a conical flask. Here, take a conical flask. This is the apparatus which we use to filter the mud water. Fix this conical flask with the stand. Fix the conical flask with the stand. Okay. Now take the filter paper and make it into the shape of the conical flask only. The filter paper is having very fine holes will be there in the filter paper. Very fine holes are there in the filter paper. Now what you have to do, how you will separate the mud from the water. The mud also is very fine. So now here take the beaker containing the mud water. The beaker containing, this is a mud water. Muddy water. You are taking the muddy water here. Now, get the filter paper first and keep it in the funnel, conical flask, conical funnel. Keep it in the conical funnel. Now, slowly pour this muddy water into the funnel. Slowly pour the water. What happens? What happens? The water passes through this filter paper slowly and it is collected in the beaker. Don't pour it fast. Slowly pour the water through the filter paper. Slowly the water will be passes through the filter paper. What is collected on the filter paper then? Mud particles. It is undissolved particle. It is undissolved particle. The particles, the substance which is not soluble in water is called undissolved substance, that is called residue. What do you call it? Residue. It is called as a residue. Understood? Undissolved particle which is not soluble in water is called residue. Now what you are getting here? Clean water. You are getting in the beaker clean water. This is the water which you are getting after filtration in the beaker is called as filtrate. Is called as filtrate. So how the water you are getting especially in rainy season we get muddy water. So this is a method of filtration. The undissolved substances, fine substances will be separated by using a method called filtration method. Is it? By using a method that is called filtration method. Next coming to, now can you separate the salt water by using filtration method? Salt is soluble in water. Salt is soluble in water. Salt dissolves in the water. The dissolved substances easily passes through the filter paper. Only undissolved substances you can separate by using the filter paper. Isn't it? By this method. Now, how you will separate the salt from the water? How you will separate salt from the water? What is the method used to separate salt from the water? How you are getting the salt from sea water? Already I think you have studied in social class also, social studies also. What is the method used to separate salt from the water? Separation of salt from the water, that is what you call it? Crystallization method. What do you call it? Crystallization method. It is called crystallization method. It is called crystallization method. Now what you have to do for this? How you will separate? You can do this at home also. You can do this process at this method at home also. How to separate it? Take a beaker. Take half beaker of water and say or more than water you add salt in it. Stir it well. background. Heat it. Heat it. What happens when you heat it? Heat this. After some times, what happens? The water starts boiling. Continuously heat. The evaporation will be fast. Till complete water is evaporated, till that time you have to heat the water. Complete evaporation should be done. Okay? Complete water should be evaporated. What is left behind when the water is completely evaporated? Left behind is salt crystals. Salt crystals will be left. Crystals of salt you will get it. So this method is crystallization method is used to separate the salt from the water. In the same way, in the sea water bodies, that is usually seas and oceans, near the body sea water, near the sea, what they will do? They make a small meadows. They make small meadows and they allow the sea water in these meadows. Due to sun's heat, the water is evaporated. Due to sun's heat, the water is evaporated and left behind is a salt, crystal of salt, and this salt will be sent to the factories for further purification. How you are getting the salt from the water, isn't it? So, thank you children. Have a nice day.